This is a question raised by some non-Ahmadis. They say that the Ahmadis argue about issues which are not important in Islam. Like for example, whether Jesus died or not, or whether the Isra and Miraj were spiritual or physical. They say that this does not change anything in the beliefs of a Muslim, whether we believe either ways. So
this is absolutely wrong. They are the vital issues which relate to life or death of Islam. And their attitude of total disinterest in these vital issues indicates that they have reached a very critical stage. Islam has been, the state of Muslims has been predicted by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to reach a stage, a critical stage, where they are about to die and disappear. When Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam described the state of Muslims during the latter days, he repeatedly spoke of such dire conditions, such ominous conditions prevailing during that area among the Muslims, that once it is reported, when he explained what would happen in the latter days to the Ummah, one of the companions stood up and said, Ya Rasulullah, do you mean that this Ummah will be wiped out, will be completely destroyed and annihilated? This was the force of his message. He said, no. How can this Ummah be annihilated when I am in the beginning and Masih would be in the end? See? So the concept, the issue of the identity of that Masih, who has been related by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to bring life to a dying people of Islam, not Islam, but people of Islam. Is he not important? Is it not important for us to identify him when he comes? It's a very vital issue. But let him translate it piecemeal and then I'll return to the same issue again, right? Now, Masih cannot be identified without going into the discussion of what happened to him. If he is proved to be still alive, ascending to heaven and deposited somewhere by God in space, if this is what the mullahs say true, and if it is the same Messiah who has to appear again, then there is no problem of identification. The moment we see somebody descending from heaven, like this, and an old man of 2000 years or more, we will recognize him. And until that happens, Muslims cannot be revived. It's that important. But if he is dead, as we believe he is, then there is no room for us except to have one of the two options adopted. One choice is that we believe that Jesus Christ would appear in the form of a person born in the Ummah of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as such he would be entitled Jesus only spiritually and metaphorically. And this has happened before in the history of religion. Somebody is promised, someone else comes in the name of that promised person, and he is accepted to have fulfilled the prophecy. And this is also a common usage among all the languages of the world. Sometimes a great man who is highly respected in certain areas of human excellences is given his title repeatedly to other people who have excelled in the same area of human achievements. Like Hatem Thai is a case in point. Hatem Thai is highly respected in the entire Arab world for his generosity, which found no equal in his time and even after him. No man is ever reported to have born in Arabia or elsewhere who could match the generosity of Hatem Thai. A man whose greatness was accepted by Muhammad Rasulullah himself. Homage was paid to his greatness in the area of generosity in service to mankind. When Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah released the prisoners of Thai Kabila, of the Thai tribe, because he said his ancestor, the forefather of this Kabila, this Thai tribe, had done so much favor to the rest of the Arabs that Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah wanted to return that favor. What a fantastic thing to have done. So he released all the prisoners of that tribe and returned the property which was captured from them. So he's a real man. I'm not talking of imaginary figure. The name of this real man is given to such people who have different names, who have different tribe, who have different identity, when a very high praise is to be bestowed upon them in the area of generosity. When somebody wants to praise the generosity to the hyperbole, to the extreme mubalgha, one says, he is a Hatem Thai. What a Hatem Thai, you know? You don't say he is like Hatem Thai. To say like Hatem Thai is a smaller praise, less significant praise. But to call somebody Hatem Thai, this is the greatest. So when we know it in human usage of metaphors and figures of speech, why can't it happen in religion? So we believe that if it is proved that Jesus Christ did not die upon cross but yet died a natural death later on, then all these prophecies must be understood as metaphorical. Cannot be understood literally. Because a man who is died and buried, how can he return from the sky? They're two different things altogether. Even if you believe that he will be revived, still the man, he should grow out of the earth, like what would happen on the day of judgment. How could Rasulullah said he would descend? So the descent only indicates his coming from God, or he would physically appear as they believe. So we reject the concept of his physical appearance from the heaven, because we prove on the authority of the Holy Quran that he is dead and buried in the ground. Buried in the ground couldn't appear from the heaven anyway. But the second option for them is to reject all these prophecies and say it is just like an opium given to suppress pain. Sometimes opium is given to patients so that they lose the sense of pain and they do not suffer with whatever they are afflicted with. But you can't attribute this to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's impossible. He promised at such length and so largely, so clearly, that when Ummah would reach that stage, God would send the Savior in the form of Jesus Christ. If Jesus is dead, then this Savior has to be a Savior born in Ummat Muhammadiyya sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after his style and in his name. So this question is vital. It's so vital that if they believe he is still alive, they'll keep waiting for his descent till the end of the time. And no dead man pay a second visit to the world, to the earth. Do they prefer that state of slumber and forgetfulness about themselves? Will they accept this position are waiting for somebody who would never appear until the day of judgment appears, and all their waiting for Jesus Christ would go in vain, and they will continue to suffer from the diseases, spiritual disease which Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam foretold. It's a very vital issue. Hazrat Masih Maud explained this in another beautiful way. He said, let old Messiah die, because in his death lies the life of Islam. What a beautiful expression. Let old Messiah die, because in his death lies the life of Islam. That is so true. If they believe in a dead person to be alive, they will die, but he will not come to life. See? So it is such a vital issue. Moreover, looking at it from a different angle, which is in relation to Christianity, it can be proved even to the most dense person that the only attitude which is taken by Jamaat Ahmadiyya is the effective defense against Christianity. All other mullahs' views are suicidal. Once you accept Jesus to have ascended to heaven, as the mullahs would have us believe, and then to return back to earth, then the Muslims will have no defense against the truth of Islam, in favor of Islam and against the Christian attacks. You see, this belief that Jesus is still alive, he ascended from heaven and will descend again to the earth, this belief proves him to be either God or at least neither a man nor a prophet. Which of the options will they accept? Because when, according to the Quran, people demanded from Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a sign of his truth to ascend to heaven bodily and then descend again, and with a book in his hand. The answer taught by the Quran to Muhammad Rasulullah was, "Qul subhana rabbi, hal kuntu illa basharan rasoola." Allah be praised, He is the only person without defect, without flaw, the only flawless being, Allah, subhana rabbi. Hal kuntu illa basharan rasoola. I am only a bashar and a messenger. So the question which is raised by the Christian is Jesus Christ a bashar and a messenger or not? Just give us the straightforward answer. Is he bashar? What would you say? Yes. Is he a prophet? You would say yes. How could he ascend to heaven? Why didn't Muhammad Rasulullah Is he a false man when he says that, Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? So this is the dilemma in which the world of Islam is caught, and they have no defense in favor of Islam against the Christian attack on the issue of life and death of Jesus Christ. And yet they say it's not important. It's important for the survival of Islam. It is important for establishing the truth of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And yet it is not important to them. It is important to us, whatever they say. If Christians are offered with a weapon which injures the truth of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the weapon is offered by the Muslims themselves, what more stupid and mad policy could they think of? We will not let that happen. We prove on the authority of the Quran, on the authority of the Old and New Testaments, on the authority of the history, that Jesus did not die upon cross, but he never ascended to heaven. Having not died upon cross did not mean that automatically because he did not die upon cross, he must have ascended to heaven. It's very stupid. He remained on earth, he met a natural death, and God called him back, his soul, back to heavens. This is what we can prove, and we do prove from the Holy Quran. When we do that, then if the Christians ask us, not knowing that we are Ahmadis, they say, do you believe in Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam to be a bashar? Say, yes, of course we do. And a messenger? Say, yes. And then do you believe that Jesus Christ, despite being a bashar and a messenger, ascended to heaven? We said, no, we don't. The whole argument collapses. They are totally deflated. This is the meaning of he will break the cross. So the true Jesus has come and he's already broken the cross. And these other Muslims do not know what has happened already. A great revolution has taken place in the history of our debates with the Christians. No longer they have got an ascendancy over us because we believe their son, or so-called son of God, to be dead and buried under the ground. And yet it is not important, but it's I've said too much. It can't be covered perhaps in the remaining time, but try.
Okay.
We have some more minutes after 7:30. About them. Plenty of time. After you have finished your translation, I'll tell to the second issue, the importance of the second issue, right? Of Miraj.
I missed one point.
What did you say, please?
I said,
I was thinking of something else.
just after the point of Hatim At-Ta'i,
What I said was that this proves that people are given the name of somebody who is dead to a person who is alive, only to indicate a complete similarity. So in this way, Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam promised a Masih ibn Maryam for the Ummah to indicate a perfect similarity. We claim this because we can prove from the Quran, from the Hadith, from the Old Testament and New Testament that old Jesus is dead. So when he is dead, then he can't return himself. Then when his name is applied to someone in future, then it has to be taken a metaphorical application, not literal. Is that what you have said?
yes, this is what I missed.
This one, so please.